briefing, gentlemen, is to get me answers based on your abilities and experience.
Captain StarLog, March 17th, 2017. Welcome back, everybody. Captain Foley here, as always. I'm making this Captain's Log late at night on Thursday, so hopefully it'll be uploaded and ready for you guys on time on Friday. If not, it might be a little bit later in the day, but we're not going to know that until it's released. So I just wanted to get that out there. Well, it's currently 12:30. It's fine. I'm usually up till like 3:30, 4 o'clock anyway, most days. So I just wanted to address a few things today. First of all, there's been a lot of confusion regarding our mission briefings, especially for Trekyards. And I understand the Trekyards people that watch those videos, the Trekyards members, aren't necessarily Trekyards fans. They aren't really necessarily used to the Trekyards mission briefing format. Samuel does a good job in each of the Trekyards mission briefings, saying at the beginning that's just a relaxed discussion show where we just take a look at a ship, and I don't really say that in the Trekyards mission briefings, and I really need to start because the last one we did, the Jupiter 2 from Lost in Space, I knew is a fan favorite of a lot of people, and we didn't know much about it because Samuel and myself never really watched the show. But our point of a mission briefing is to basically look at a ship, and as we explained in our Q&A from Mission Canada yesterday that we released, we look at it this way. We're on the bridge, we get a sensor reading of a ship as we're warping into a system. It's on the very far reaches of our sensors. We get a little outline of the ship around a planet, kind of get a zoomed in picture of it, can't really get much in the way of sensor readings because it's too far away. So call myself and the commander down to the conference room, the briefing room, and we chat and go, look, based on the silhouette of this ship, it looks like it's got this. Looks like it's got this feature. What do you think we're getting into here? This is an unknown alien ship, or a Romulan design we've never seen before, let's say. It's discussing our options at that point. We don't have a detailed analysis. We're not close enough to get, really focused and detailed sensor scans of the ship. We look at it that we're actually trying to figure out, using our experience and our knowledge on the Star Trek universe and all the technology that we know exists, we're trying to get that kind of feel for what's going on. It's a discussion, and that's what the mission briefings are. We don't go into them fully researching the ship, knowing all the stats and figures. Occasionally, if we don't know a lot about the ship, we will have a wiki page up, perhaps. Not with Star Trek ships. Star Trek ships, we definitely go in cold, no wiki page or anything. Trekyards, we do pull up wiki pages if necessary to kind of just hit a few points for the fans. But the Jupiter 2 really blew up. A lot of people are saying, well, at least watch the show. Well, that's not the point of our mission briefings. We just want to get those ships out there to the fans that like them. A lot of people are saying you confused canon facts with fan-made facts and fan-made schematics and stuff. That's cool. That's what the show is about. Us learning about the ship and kind of giving our feedback on the information that we know based on whatever sci-fi universe it is that we're looking at, which might not be a lot. But we try to apply our knowledge base into that. As Kirk himself said in a scene from The Naked Time, the purpose of a briefing, gentlemen, is to get me answers based on your abilities and experience. I'll play the clip right now for you in case you don't believe me.
The purpose of a briefing, gentlemen, is to get me answers based on your abilities and experience.
So there you have it, guys. Kirk's own words. He wants answers based on his staff's knowledge, abilities, and experience. Or just abilities and experience in this case. So not everybody has the answers. Everybody has their own field that they're particularly good in or know a lot about. And the briefing is just that. It's to get everybody together and kind of knock ideas around, get a sense of what we're running into. And then as the situation progresses, we learn more information, more facts. We get some computer, get the computer working on the problem, running the sensor scans through it and detailing everything that's available knowledge-wise. That's a full episode of Trekyards where we do complete research. We look at every bit of information we can find. And one of the most important things about the mission briefings is to get your feedback as well. A lot of people have heard facts about ships over the years, You know, things that they've known from watching the show and being a huge fan of the show, or having a technical manual that was made in the 70s that nobody knows about, or something, and that we might not have access to, is to put that information in the comments. And then when we do the full episode on the ship in the future, the full detailed analysis, as it were, and not a briefing, just discussing the design or the ship, then we use that information in conjunction with all the research that we do to include in the episode. So it's your way of contributing to a Trekyards episode, or getting a piece of information that you know that you want to share with everybody out there to the world. So that's what that is. And we've had this issue since mission briefings started. You know, this episode wasn't very good, guys. You really didn't do your homework. Well, no, we didn't, because it's a mission briefing. The whole purpose of our mission briefings, either Fleet Yards or Trekyards, is to just go in cold, look at the ship based on our knowledge. The Star Trek ones don't really run into that too often, those kind of comments, because people get what we're doing. And we know enough about the Star Trek universe that we can apply what we know to the ship, based on how many torpedo ports it has, or how many phaser emitters we can see, the size of the nacelles, where they're positioned. We speculate on whether it can separate, you know, things like that. Fleet Yards is a little different, because a lot of these old sci-fi shows like Lost in Space or like Buck Rogers didn't put a lot of thought into the technical aspects of the ship. So we don't really have a lot of information to go on based on just our wiki pages and stuff. So we apologize, but we don't at the same time, because that's exactly what the show is designed to be. The full episode is where you want to look and see the information. So if you're a fan of Fleet Yards, if you're a fan of Trekyards, and you don't know what a mission briefing is, now hopefully you do, and you'll understand a bit better what we're trying to accomplish with them. It's just our first look at the ship, and sometimes a lot of people commented as well. I really like the way they approach this. They go into it cold. They don't know anything about the ship, and it's nice to hear their first thoughts and their discussion on it without knowing anything about the ship. A lot of people have said, call in an expert on the ship to get a third-party view. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of a mission briefing. In a way, it would be doing just that, just what Kirk did. I want to, you know, your abilities and expertise, I want to talk to you about it. But that would be a Fleet Yards podcast on the ship. That would be a Fleet Yards full episode with a guest star, a designer, or somebody that's really knows the ship, which is what we're going to do for full episodes and things. We might branch off and do another kind of Fleet Yards show where we just have a general discussion about a particular ship that we might not know a lot about. That might be something to consider, but it won't be the mission briefing standard going forward. The mission briefing is just the commander and myself talking about a ship and trying to ascertain, you know, what certain things could be, why it's a certain way, why it looks a certain way, why it acts a certain way. Sometimes we have knowledge of the franchise, either from watching it as a kid, or we're big fans of it ourselves, aside from our Star Trek fandom. And sometimes we don't know anything about it, but it's a fan favorite. That one was actually requested by one of our viewers for the Indiegogo campaign. He wanted us to look at it. We do offer, during the Indiegogo campaigns, to get a full episode done on a ship, or a mission briefing done on a ship. And we explain what each one is. So if you want to donate for a full episode, that's cool. We still got to get our Patreon goals up to the full level to release full Fleet Yards episodes on a regular basis, because they are time consuming to do, and it takes time away from our regular lives and stuff. But anyway, guys, that's where we stand on that. So usually we touch on ships that we know a little bit about. Either Samuel knows them from games and I don't know anything about them, or I know about a show from the 80s or something that Samuel doesn't know anything about. So at least one of us goes in with knowledge. Lost in Space was an exception, because sure, we had seen the remake of the movie. I had seen a few episodes. Samuel hasn't seen 1 second of the show. So we had the wiki page up. I read some facts on it, and they're like, oh, reading facts from wiki pages isn't enough. Well, you can't make everybody happy. You can't make anybody happy, apparently, sometimes. That's what we found out. But we do have fans that are coming to our defense in the comments, and we appreciate that. But anyway, that's enough on the mission briefing thing. The main purpose of today's Captain's Log was I put a Q&A post on the Trekyards page. If you guys had any questions for me, to shoot them out and ask, and I would address them. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read some of those, well, try to get all of them in this Captain's Log, and hopefully not make it too long. So here we go. Well, the first one is from Chris Kostick. Okay, Captain, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living that leaves you with a schedule flexible enough to do all the Trekyards goodness? I saw it said private investigator, but what does that include? And then Todd Mallet says, I concur. There seems to be some mystery about what our good captain does when he's not throwing us red shirts to the wolves. Well, yes, you did read that right. I am a private investigator. I'm not really, I don't do a lot of full-time work now. It's more contractual stuff. And really, lately, I've just been kind of a consultant because I don't really enjoy it. I don't want to continue doing it. I've actually taken a lot of time off lately for personal reasons, which we won't get into here. I don't like talking about my job. You know, I could tell you all the details. I could go into that. I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you, kind of thing. I used to do like personal injury and that kind of stuff, and family and divorces and things like that. But that was way back, like 20 years ago. And then I just moved on to insurance stuff, and then eventually identity theft, fraud, things like that. So that's kind of what it is. So I accept my own contracts if I get them. There's a few companies that are around the area that need people in specific spots or whatever. But yeah, I don't really do anything regarding that anymore. So that kind of sums it up. When I do work, I don't really like to talk about it because I don't enjoy it. So that's what it is. Nothing exciting. I grew up watching Magnum PI. I don't get to carry a gun. I don't drive a red Ferrari. I don't live on an estate. So I always wanted to be a private investigator, became one, and then it's like, where do I go from here? And then Trekyards reared its pretty little head, and here I am doing all this for you guys and showing you all my great stuff and, researching things for you. So that's that question in a nutshell. The next question is from Jack Elmlinger. What is a day in the life of Captain Stuart Foley like, other than making videos about cleaning shelves and showing us your awesome models? Usually involves my wife going to work, kids going to school, me sleeping in a little bit, because like I said, I stay up late. Getting up, having coffee, having something to eat, maybe. I usually don't eat until supper time. I know it's a bad habit, but occasionally I'll have a bagel or a breakfast sandwich or something in the morning. But I'll have a coffee, come downstairs. If I'm doing anything regarding the investigation work, I'll get that out of the way. Or I'll hammer out a script, research a show, film with Samuel for a few hours. Email all of our guests, arrange guests filming sessions, and try to get new guests on the show. Handle all the Facebook publicity for Trekyards, things like that. So then the kids come home from school. I usually go upstairs. I'm done everything by 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock sometimes, depending on the day. Go upstairs, watch some TV, usually Star Trek, because Space Channel has TOS, TNG, Voyager on. I usually make supper during Voyager, feed the kids. Sylvia comes home. It's a typical day when Sylvia's working. So that's that. Now when Sylvia's not working, we go out and we do our errands, we go pay our bills, we go shopping, we do that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Next is from Todd Mallet. I'm thinking about going to Wonderfest this year. Any chance of meeting up? Absolutely. I go to Wonderfest. This will be my 3rd year in a row, and I plan on going every year because I absolutely love it. It's absolutely fantastic. Great people, great time, great fun, great models. And it's always the first weekend in June, so we always show up on. Me and a couple buddies always drive down. It takes about 7.5, 8 hours to get there. So we leave in the morning on a Thursday. We get there around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. And then hang around all weekend and leave Monday morning, probably around 7 or 8. And then get home in the afternoon. So yeah, absolutely, Todd, if you want to meet up, I will be there all weekend. I'll be walking around. I'm also the chairman for the Iron Modeler contest, which is like Iron Chef. You get a model kit and you got to turn it into something else. You got groups of 3 or 4 modelers per table, and they compete. You got 4 hours to build this model, or turn it into whatever you want. You have to use a certain percentage of the actual donor kit, and then whatever. So if you can't find me, you'll find me during Iron Modeler, which is on Saturday night. So there you go. Peter Quinn is next. Would you be interested in having a Goa'uld in you, inside you? No. I think that's a creepy thing. I never really watched Stargate too much, but I know what the Goa'uld are. Kind of like a Trill symbiote, I guess. No, doesn't interest me. Don't want somebody else running around in my head, because myself in there is kind of scary enough, to be honest. So, Anastasia Actress, I hope I got that right. I assume you are a stay-at-home dad with an awesome family, are you? Kind of? Yes. And my family is amazingly awesome. My oldest daughter, Selena, has 2 kids of her own, so I'm a grandpa. Don't know how many of you guys know that. She's 22. My son, Thomas, he is turning 20 this year, or is it 21? Yeah, I don't even know how old my son is. How bad is that? I'll be able to tell, because Cassie, she just turned 17, because her birthday is January 4th, and she was born in 2000, so she's always whatever year it is, that's how old she is. So Thomas is 2 years younger than her, or older than her, sorry, so he's 19, so he'll be 20 in August. There you go. And we also have Christian, who is, he just turned 12. So yeah, those are the kids, and 3 of them live with me. So Selena is out on her own, like I said, with her 2 kids. But yeah, there you go. And there's a second part to this question. And would you ever come to the UK for a Star Trek convention? A UK convention would be affordable for me and my kids. I would absolutely love to come to the UK. Samuel's over there. We plan on getting me over there at some point. He's come over here a few times, so I got to get over there. And yeah, absolutely, I would love to come to a UK convention and meet up with all the UK fans. So, absolutely. Next is from Chris Kostick again. So what type of easy cheese do you prefer? Sharp, American, bacon, cheddar, or normal cheddar? Anyone that knows me knows that I'm a big fan of the easy cheese, Kraft spray cheese. We can't get it in Canada because of our regulations and laws regarding harmful products in your food. I know it's basically a really bad food to eat, but I absolutely love it. I love putting it on crackers or on a hot dog. So the answer is sharp, normal cheddar. I haven't tried the bacon, but it sounds kind of disgusting actually. So it doesn't really matter to me personally. I got a few people in the States that send me spray cheese or bring it down when they come and visit. My good friend Josh Spencer, who's also one of our guest stars, worked on FASA and Starfleet Battles. He brings it down when he comes down for me, so I appreciate that. And Jay Aldridge, he wanted to send me some, but Amazon wouldn't ship it up here, so I thank you guys for feeding my addiction. I absolutely love spray cheese, and that's bad, but I know. And Peter Quinn went on to say, nope, 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 proper cheese, not squeezy cheese. A lot of people either love it or you hate it, this spray cheese. And since we can't get it here, I don't eat it all the time, so it's not that bad for me, I guess. Next is from San Adalberto. What is your favorite and least favorite type 1, type 2, or type 3 phaser design? My favorite and my least favorite is the Dustbuster from Next Generation Season 1, the big ugly ass thing. My favorite would probably be this bad boy from Star Trek 3. Absolutely love this design. And then of course the other alternative is the TOS phaser. Those are my 2 favorites, without a doubt. Joel Malhazy, Malhaze. I don't know how you pronounce your last name, Joel. I apologize. Question: what is the possibility for a Portuguese captain in Starfleet? Absolutely limitless. My brother-in-law, he is Portuguese, so I understand the Portuguese food and their love for all things eating and things. So yeah, I think why not have a Portuguese captain? Absolutely. Next is Todd Mallet again. Is it true that milk comes in bags up there? It is absolutely 100% true. And you guys are probably thinking, that's crazy. What does that even mean? Milk in bags, how is that a thing? Well, it's a thing. And maybe I'll show you some. Hold on a second, I'll go get some. So here is the infamous milk in bags. You buy it in this big bag. And inside this big bag are 3 smaller bags. And each bag is 1 liter of milk. Now, how do we use this milk, you might ask? You Americans are so silly. With this plastic container called a milk jug. You put the bag in, as you can see, you bang it on the counter, it flattens down, then you take the scissors and you cut the tip off. You grab a glass and pour your milk. It's fantastic. I'm telling you, it's the way to go. And it's good because my throat's getting dry, so I need a little bit of something to drink. Milk. It does a captain good. So yes, it's true. Milk in bags. Joel Malhazy, again, question 2. Considering all known Portuguese sailors in history, why is it that only Magellan had a class of ship named after him? You got all the races you got to name ships after of people. You got all the species that are in the Federation you got to name ships after. So who knows? There could be another one out there that we don't know about. Right, that's my guess. He goes on to ask another question. Question 3. Since in Star Trek all class of ships have designations from naval history, how come no submarines? I don't know. That's a very good question, considering that the secondary hull on a ship is basically like a submarine. I don't make the rules. Don't ask me. I just work here as a captain. That's what I gotta say. Todd Mallet again. Have you been working on the 350 refit lately? Curious to see how it's going. No, I haven't. It's still in stagnation over here on my bench. I'm currently working on my Katinga. Just painting on some detailing on the feather pattern. Haven't done this side. Got this side done. Haven't done the bottom. I got a lot of work to do. Haven't been model building for a while, so I'm using this to get back into it, get some paint, because painting is one of my favorite parts of building a model. But fear not, the 350 will be back on the bench, and when I do any progress or work on it, I will be making videos on that, so you'll be able to keep up. Todd Mallet again says, what's your favorite type of music and who's your favorite artist? I love all music except for heavy death metal screaming and really twangy country, both ends of the spectrum. Everything else in between I love. Big fan of hip hop and techno, rap. I love Tupac Shakur. I don't really have a favorite artist per se. I love AC/DC. So I don't like going to concerts. Concerts just too loud and obnoxious and annoying. I'd rather just watch a live concert at home or listen to the music on, while I'm driving or whatever. So, doesn't really answer your question so much, but next is from Joel Malhazes again. Question number 4 and last one. Could starships use the same thinking that as applies on tanks? Very heavy armor and very powerful gun and a high camouflage rating. Yeah, I'm sure there are ships like the Defiant that's armored up quite a bit. Very powerful guns. It's got quantums on it, and the Defiant and the Sovereign were the only ones to have that up to that point. And camouflage rating, cloaking device. The Defiant answers your question. Anastasia Arcturus again. I remember those custom coffee mugs of Trekyards, which are back there, as you can see. Any progress on production? I would like to surprise my boy with one. He has seen more episodes than me. Well, that's absolutely awesome. Say hi to him for us. Hi from Captain Foley. No. I'm working on getting a few shirts for myself done, Trekyards shirts, and we're looking for suppliers for shirts, mugs, things like that, because we do want to get the Trekyards store up, and that's something that's been ongoing. There's really been no movement on that because we've been way too busy with other stuff to focus on that, but the store is something that's in our sights in the foreseeable future, and so just stay tuned, is all I can say for that. Peter Quinn says, I'll rephrase mine. What symbiote, any sci-fi series would you prefer? A Trill? I don't know. Maybe a Trill with a few lifetimes of experience might be interesting, but I like being me. I don't want to be an altered version of me, so. Chris Kostick, what is your favorite generation of Camaro? I would have to say Generation 2, the one I own. I like the earlier ones, like the 72 with the split chrome bumper at the front with the big grille and the round taillights. It's one of my favorites. Mine's a 79, so I've got the full front plastic bumper and the long taillights. But yeah, the second generation. First generation, of course, is fantastic, but I don't know if I'd call it my favorite. The 69 with the covered headlights is one of my favorite designs. Third generation, the IROCs are pretty much absolute shit. There's one or two nice ones. Fourth generation is disgusting and a really bad design. Again, there's a few nice ones probably. And then the newer ones are getting back to that nice look based on the Generation 1. So, it's a tough question. I would take pretty much any Camaro, except for third and fourth generations. Not really my thing. Stuart J. Baldwin. If you could be part of the Federation fleet, what era and what battle would you want to be in? What era? Probably TNG, which surprised a lot of people because I'm a TOS fan, but TNG's got a lot more amenities, which we'll talk about later because I perused through the questions earlier, and there's a question coming up that'll kind of answer that. And what battle would I want to be in? I don't know. I don't know a lot of the famous battles. I definitely wouldn't want to be in Wolf 359, I can tell you that much. But preferably one where the Federation wins. Might be a thing. Alex Lowe, I got a good question. A three-part question regarding the Temporal Prime Directive when it comes to Voyager's timeline. Okay, during Future's End, there was a technological boom which shouldn't have happened. It was part of their history books. Why do you think that they were able to stick with this breach in history? Because it was necessary for the development of the Federation technology to be where they are. So if they would have stopped that or corrected that issue, that technological computer boom, they wouldn't exist. Well, they wouldn't be spacefaring, put it that way. After the end of that Part 2 episode, they let the Doctor keep the mobile emitter, which is a piece of 29th century technology. Again, how was that not a breach in history? Meh, that's a good question. When you got a piece of technology like that from the future, why get rid of it when it's the only one? You might as well utilize it, and especially when you got a holographic crew member that, you know, is confined and basically in prison. As long as he has to be somewhere with his holo emitters, why not use that advanced tech to actually better someone's life, even if it is an artificial life form? And in the last part, it involves Endgame, where Admiral Janeway was able to go back and bring Voyager home by use of the Borg Transwarp Network, which again was a breach of the Temporal Prime Directive. If the timeline ship relativity from the 28th century was correcting other instances of possible history changes, why did none of these instances that I brought up be touched? I would like the theory on this question. And that Peter Quinn says, and there's another bad day for Dalmar and Luxley, the temporal agents. That one's a good one. Me and Samuel actually have a podcast coming out on Sunday, so not tomorrow, but day after, talking about, was Endgame immoral? What Janeway did. So your answers will be there pretty much. As for why they didn't come back and stop that, my question is, why didn't they come back and stop the Narada from going, you know, to the past or to a different alternate timeline? Who knows? Maybe some things are just off their radar, as they say. I think the Narada coming through and screwing up a whole whole timeline or a whole reality is a lot more important than Janeway going back and saving just her crew, in my opinion. I don't know. James McClue, two-parter. What aspect of Trekdom do you like the most, and what do you dislike the most? And thanks again for you and Samuel for your hard work in setting up this fantastic community. Well, thank you, and we thank you for hearing that. We really appreciate that. We hopefully do a good job of making entertaining stuff and a good community for you guys to discuss things. But what part of Trekyard or Trekdom fandom do I like the most, and which should I like the least? The answer to both is community. There's some great people out there. I've met some of my best friends through through Star Trek, and that's something that is very important to me, the people. That being said, there's also the whiny, complainy, dislikey, argumentative people that like what they like and don't like anything else when it comes to Trek, which are very against Gene Roddenberry's IDIC, Infinite Diversity, Infinite Combinations. I myself have been guilty of that, putting out the whole JJ video, or the video JJ's Star Trek sucks and here's why. I've since come to embrace more of JJ Star Trek a little bit. But yeah, it's the basic rudeness that a lot of Trek fans have for each other when we're all just Trek fans, enjoying Gene's vision. That really bothers me, and we try to address that on the Trekyards page and the Trekyards community. We get rid of people like that because we don't want that in our community. We want people to feel safe and be able to give their opinion in a productive and, productive manner that generates positive discussion and not just hate for the sake of hate. So hopefully that answers your question. William Werger, if you could create a bridge crew from the entirety of Star Trek lore, who would you pick and why? Oh my goodness. I pick Seven because she's part Borg, has a lot of technology, and she's nice to look at. I would pick Data because he's an android, very strong, doesn't get infected with any kind of diseases or things besides computer viruses and stuff, and very intelligent, very quick, very smart. I would pick Spock, of course, because he's amazing. He's Spock. All I can think of right offhand. I would just have a very intelligent, smart crew that could basically do anything I needed and solve any problem we ran into. Bonus question. If you could create an entirely new Star Trek TV show, what era would you set it in, and what stories would you want to tell? I would probably put it in the Lost era, between the movie era, after Star Trek 6 and before TNG, that era with the Enterprise C kind of technology, or post-Voyager, or even Star Trek Online era. And what stories would I like to see? Just stuff we haven't seen before, which I consider hard because we've seen a lot of stuff in Star Trek, and I don't know how they keep coming up with new ideas on things to show us, but they do a fantastic job. So hopefully Discovery will be good. Richard Foley? Sorry. When you do your PI job, do you call yourself Dixon Hill and dress in business trench coat and fedora? No. I prefer Sherlock Holmes. I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, so I wear a deerstalker and have a pipe. Even though Holmes never wore the deerstalker, only once, and that was in an illustration by Sidney Paget. But we're not going to get into that. Truby Howard, does the Trekyards YouTube still get paid even if we don't watch the commercials? I have no idea how the ad revenue thing works, whether you brush the thing aside, use ad block. I don't know how that affects our income from the advertisements. I have no idea. What episode of any Star Trek series do you think is the all-time worst? For me, it's Star Trek Voyager Threshold. It's the one where Tom breaks the Warp 10 barrier and devolves. The worst Star Trek episode ever. Ooh. I don't know, there's a lot of Bajoran ones that I absolutely hate. The Threshold's really bad too. Spock's brain's not that great. That's tough. I need to go through the list and look at them all. There's so many that I can't really tell you right offhand. I didn't pre-plan any of the answers to these, so. Tara Elizabeth Hewitt, In your own Star Trek TV series, what would your iconic drink be, and what would your cup look like? Everyone knows Captain Janeway for her famous love of coffee and silver travel-like mug. And then Michael Bell said, how about the silver-painted styrofoam cups from TOS? I have no idea. I love Kraken rum. I love spiced rum. Maybe a rum of some sort. Put it in my Aldebaran whiskey or brandy bottle. Saurian brandy bottle here. I don't know. As maybe milk. Maybe milk would be my drink. You know, does the body good. Or a captain in this case. What would my cup look like? I don't know. Something cool. It's a good question though. And Tara Elizabeth asks again another question. The style of Borg you see changes in the different Star Trek series. Which is your favorite? The original TNG style, the Borg from First Contact, the Borg from Voyager, or controversially, the Borg from Enterprise Regeneration episode? We all secretly love the Borg, she says. I would have to say that my favorite all-time Borg would be the ones we see in First Contact, because they're scary and zombie-like. Justin Taylor, question. If you could command any ship in each of the Trek series, what ship would they be? I've answered this before. Probably the Enterprise D, the Galaxy class, because it's a huge luxurious ship. You got a nice ready room, you got nice quarters, you got huge holodecks. And a holodeck, you can command any ship from any era. So I'd be in my heaven there. I could have my TOS fix, get on the bridge of a Constitution class ship, go on a mission, and then go back to my quarters, have a sleep, and then go on the luxury liner bridge and just hang out. So that would be my answer to that. Michael Fitzgerald says, as you are a captain, which era would you like to be a captain in, and which ship would you most like command of? Just answered that as well. John Melanez says, nice pics. Are they green screen, or judging by your location, were they taken on the Phase 2 sets? Yeah, the pictures I used for the question thread were the Phase 2 sets. So, Sean Smith, what is your favorite Star Trek ship and why? Probably the Constitution class ship or the Refit, because they are the most beautifully designed ships and the reason for Star Trek existing. John Collins, do you think we will ever get a series set after Voyager and carry the story of future Enterprises? I hope so. I have no idea. Hopefully, as discussed in another Captain's Log, maybe Discovery's an anthology series and each season will be its own era. That would be awesome. So maybe. Gareth Naylor, alternative Earth question. If every other science fiction series was the same, but there was no Star Trek, what would you be doing instead? Probably Star Wars or something. I don't know. Besides Trekyards and the friends created from it for you, how has Star Trek affected your life? I answered this in an interview recently. Somebody interviewed me for a Trek blog. I've grown up with Trek my whole life. It's made me the person I am today. A lot of collecting has gone into my Star Trek. It just made me the person I am today. So I don't know what I would be like if it wasn't for Star Trek. He also says, what is your biggest regret? This is really deep. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. No idea. Everything that I've done has led me to where I am right now, talking to you fine folks, and I don't know if I'd change any of it, so I don't know. That's a good question. I'd have to think about that one for a while. What was your worst mistake, and how did you fix it? Again, that goes with the regret thing, I think. I'm going to skip a few of these. Sorry, guys, just running a little long. Jeff Saltzman, what about personal grooming in Starfleet, shaving in particular? Obviously, Starfleet doesn't care about beards, but most are shaved. Would I replicate a straight razor and go old school, or a follicular regeneration inhibitor device? Probably the last one. Prevent the hair from growing. Absolutely. Sasha Michael Holder. Okay, Captain, if you could be any character in Trek genre, who would it be and why? Captain Kirk, because he had the best crew, the best ship, and got all the hot ladies every episode. And Kirk Fu. all that would happen was I get my shirt ripped and a little bit of blood. Terry Duffelin, Core or Kang? I would say Core. Christopher Sprague, will you do more Star Trek Online content? Since you said it, what is your favorite cereal? Of course we'll do some more Star Trek Online content. Sorry, my furnace just kicked in case you're wondering. And my favorite cereal would probably be Fruit Loops, I would imagine. Aaron Harvey, where did you and Samuel meet? Just kidding. If you were to serve aboard a non-hero ship, not Enterprise or Voyager, etc., which would it be? No idea. Not the Reliant. Michael Bell, do you like trains? I love trains. I even have my own Facebook trains page called All Things Trains Showcase, where we talk about model trains and real trains and steam locomotives. My favorite are steam locomotives and model trains. I have N-Scale and HO. My dad has Lionel. So yes, I love trains. Absolutely love trains. Jay Day says, this is a Discovery question, just to warn you. They've announced that the captain will not be the main character, and this has led to folks assuming that this means that the captain will be killed early on. Do you agree with this? Personally, I'm not hoping that it means it will focus on the lower level crew or the cogs in the machine, so to speak. It'd be great if it were a show what we saw on the bridge rarely, if at all. What do you think? I can see the captain being killed, but I think it's going to be more of a lower decks kind of thing, which I totally approve of. So yeah, I agree with the cogs in the wheel, as it were. Dave Fincham says, do you enjoy beer? If so, what's your favorite? Probably Rickard's Red would be my favorite beer. Have you sampled any of the alcoholic beverages from Star Trek? Romulan Ale, Warp Core Breach? If so, what are your thoughts on them? Haven't tried any of the actual alcoholic ones like that, no. I've got the Star Trek beer, which is in this limited edition. There's 12 different labels, all based on ships of the line. So I have that. I have some in the fridge still. If you could brew a beer or create a mixed drink, what Star Trek related name would you give it? Kirk Fu. It will knock you on your ass. That would be my tagline. Stuart J. Baldwin, Romulan Ale or Klingon Blood Wine? Romulan Ale, absolutely. It's a nicer color, probably tastes a lot better. He also asks Klingon Raktajino or Cardassian Fish Juice? The answer to that one's super simple. Double strong, double sweet, Raktajino. John Melendez, a warrior's drink, prune juice. No. Sam over Prince, looks like a captain that's ready to put a boot in someone's rear. Also, what do you think is the dumbest moment in any Star Trek series? Couldn't say. I have no idea. TK Williams, you stated that you suffer from depression. Have you ever had the feeling you just wanted to give up, that life wasn't worth bothering over anymore? How would you get past this while still being a productive member of the workforce? Yes, I have had days like that. You just gotta trudge on, unfortunately. I've missed work because of it, lost jobs because of it. It's not pleasant, and it's something that is one of the reasons that I take a lot of time off now. Louis Doggett says, I hate to say this, but that outfit looks more like Starfleet security. He's of course talking about my Starfleet tactical hoodie that I wear as my Trekyards uniform, but don't worry, I got another uniform in the works for Trekyards. Sean Sullivan, I am interested in what you would do if you had the power to create a Star Trek TV series. Like I said, the lost years between Star Trek 6 and TNG, I would love to see that era fleshed out a lot. Sam Cloud, which company would you choose to manufacture the Star Trek Discovery merchandise, primarily the ship models, and why? Cheers and all the best. Probably Diamond Select or Art Asylum, as they do some fantastic work. But as far as models go, it would have to be round 2, like that did the 350 Enterprise, TOS Enterprise and stuff. Aaron Harvey, money no object, what would you like Trekyards to evolve into? And money being the objective, what are your future plans? We just wanted to create stuff that people want to watch. I mean, money no object. I would love to see Trekyards DVDs and merchandise and things that you guys could enjoy because you're a fan of the show. What are our future plans? Just to keep trudging along, doing what we're doing, getting more guest stars lined up for you guys, going to more conventions, maybe getting behind the scenes on a new series like Discovery or something, becoming your go-to place for Star Trek information, especially ship information. Chris Walton, which is your favorite version of the iconic Starfleet Delta insignia badge? Peter Quinn says the Trekyards one. It's not quite the Delta, is it? It's a good insignia though. My favorite one would probably be the Star Trek II one, or the one from the motion picture with just the circle behind it. The one that's actually used as the banner on the side of the ship. That's the one I absolutely love. How would you feel about the Star Trek series that focused on, this is from Brian Richards, that focused on non-Starfleet ship and crew, thinking along the lines of something like civilians, like Cassidy Yates freighter on Deep Space Nine, or digging into something like Morn's adventures, trading and committing heists? I don't think that would really be it for me. I mean, to see the odd episode like that, absolutely, but as a series, no. We kind of got that with the fan-made Aurora, which I loved, but Joel Melhazy, again, question 5. I know I said it would be only asked 4, but this came to mind, and this is a free-for-all Treks. Who would like to see a series based on Section 31, more militarized Starfleet ships and missions? Might be interesting. I'm not really sure that's what Gene wanted, but I mean, a lot of Star Trek that we love isn't what Gene wanted, so I don't know. I'd watch it, of course, but Vincent Cambria, do you watch football, CFL or NFL? Neither. I'm not a sports fan. I'll watch the Super Bowl occasionally, not every year. Go to a friend's place, have some food, just chat with them. Not a sports fan. Don't understand them, don't care to. Mark Lafort, behind the scenes of Trekyards. Who are you, Stuart? What do you do besides Trekyards? Do you have a family, and how are they with the obvious Trek obsession? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Do they enjoy it too, or do they stay out of it? What brought you to Trek? First episode you ever saw? Favorite captain? Oh my god. Wow. My family just accepts it. My kids aren't really into Star Trek at all. Sylvia, my wife, is as huge a Star Trek fan as I am, but she's more TNG and Voyager, Deep Space Nine. That's more her thing. She's a pro at naming the episode within like the first 20 seconds pretty much of any episode. So it's like two crack addicts living together. We got a lot of Star Trek stuff. We feed off each other. What brought you to Trek? I was born into it. My brother loved it, and I just grew up with it. First episode you ever saw? Absolutely no idea. Favorite captain? Kirk. Favorite ship? TOS or refit? Favorite series and why? Deep Space Nine, because it's really intense, great storytelling, awesome captain, awesome characters, nitty-gritty, dark and dirty Star Trek. What inspired you to start Trekyards, and how did you and Samuel Calkins meet? Inquiring minds want to know. We met. We've gone through this story before. I had a YouTube channel where I did model builds and movie reviews. Samuel was watching one of my movie reviews while he was editing something. I mentioned it was my birthday coming up, so he made me an intro for my channel that said Captain Foley, and we got talking. He made me a few more intros, which you guys see at the beginning of the captain's logs and things like that. And we both found out we love ships, and we wanted to do a show that we would want to watch ourselves based on ships, learning about ships and tech and things like that, and that's how Trekyards came to be. So there you go. Hopefully inquiring minds have been satiated. Chris White, what did it feel like sitting in the captain's chair when you and Samuel went to New York? Felt absolutely awesome. Got some great pictures of me. I love it. It's like I'm at home. This is where I need to be. Love it. Michael Ball, have you ever felt awkward admitting you're a Star Trek fan to people you meet at work, social gatherings? Used to, not anymore. Now I'm Captain Foley, through and through. Obviously, Facebook, YouTube, etc. are great ways to share your life with like-minded people, but I've always felt uncomfortable talking to people about it unless they bring it up. It might be a UK thing, but I'm sure it happens in Canada. It used to when I was younger. I never told anybody at school that I liked Star Trek because, you know, that was the nerds. That's when nerds were a bad thing back then. Now the nerds rule the world, and I have no problem telling people I love Star Trek. I go out and wear my tactical hoodie which says Starfleet on it with my Trekyards badge out in public to do my daily thing. I don't care. I'm Captain Foley, for Christ's sake. If they don't like it, they can go suck an egg. I'm trying to be politically correct and not swear for once. Michael Bell says, have you ever spocked a fiver? No, I have not. And you can't with the new fives because they're like a plastic polymer, so you can't really do it. But no, what he's referring to, our $5 bill, the last generation of bills, just a few years ago, had their paper, and they had John A. McDonald in kind of a side profile. You could draw Spock here on him, change his hairline, and add a little delta to his collar, and he looked exactly like Spock. So that's what Spocking a fiver. Look it up. Spocking a fiver, or look up Canadian Spock $5 bill on Google. You'll see pictures of them, or I'll just show one here. Jeremy Roberts, what is your earliest Star Trek memory? The mural that my brother Steve had painted on one whole wall of his bedroom had an Enterprise, had a Romulan bird of prey, a Klingon ship, a planet landscape, some planets. No pictures of it exist, unfortunately, but it was amazing. Sorry, I apologize. You can hear water running. That's because I'm in my basement, and my daughter just got home. It's 1 o'clock. She was out with her boyfriend, and yeah. So that was the toilet flushing upstairs. I apologize. And you hear the furnace. This is real life, folks. This is Trekyards unscripted. Usually all these things are filtered out. Sometimes you'll hear water in one of the videos. That's why. But yeah. Ron Phillips, where did you first meet your wife, and how did your human adventure with her begin? Met her at work when I worked at a call center. I worked technical support for Hewlett-Packard computers, and she did as well. And then went from there. We just started being friends, realized we both liked Star Trek, started hanging out. I had no interest or no, you know, I just got out of a relationship, wasn't looking for anything, and just blossomed, and I'm the happiest I've ever been now. Going on like 8 years now, so. Vincent Cambria, which sci-fi series, old or new, do you think is most accurate with sci-fi involved in space travel? Probably The Expanse right now, or Discovery, or no, not Discovery, Space, 2001, A Space Odyssey, something like that, I think would be the most realistic. Paul Chavez, what is your favorite cereal? What is your favorite cereal? Fruit Loops, as I said before. Peter Quinn, Snap, Crackle, and Spock, of course. Aaron Harvey says, nah, Tribbles and Bits. 3 more questions, guys. Sorry it's been a long one, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it and learning a few things about your captain. Nothing you can use against me, hopefully, in the future, but yeah. Scott Clark, if you could make 2 alien species mate to create a new hybrid species, what would you create and why? Ooh, that's interesting. Probably a Cardassian and a Hirogen hunter, because I think that'd be a ruthless race of people. Plus, they'd look really cool, I think. Patrick Stevens, if you could create a unique TOS era bridge, would you? Absolutely. I've created the Foley class Dreadnought. I would love to create a bridge for that as well. Probably have 2 turbo lifts, I would imagine, instead of just the one. Maybe a few altered things on the bridge, I don't know. But yeah, absolutely, I would consider building one, or not building one, designing one. Building one. I always wanted to build a TOS replica bridge in my basement. That was always my goal my whole life. I wanted to buy a house big enough, have one room just be the bridge, TOS bridge. James Colley, he actually did it. I still haven't done it. Maybe one day, who knows? Once the kids move out, I can reappropriate some of their rooms, move my office upstairs, you know, redo the basement, maybe have enough room to put in a bridge set. Who knows? We'll see. Vincent S. Cambria, what are some of your favorite sci-fi novels or series of novels, or even non-Star Trek or science fiction novels? I don't do a lot of reading. I really want to. I've got a ton of books, a ton of novels, a ton of hardback books. I got book collections coming out the wazoo. I got bookcases full of books. I got books everywhere. I just love Star Trek novels. I absolutely love them. I love coffee table books about shows like Transformers and He-Man and things that I grew up with. The history of Star Wars. I don't know. I love behind-the-scenes books. I love behind-the-scenes things on DVDs and movies and documentaries about things. I just love the behind-the-scenes aspect of things. So I would say my favorite Star Trek series of books would probably be the Vanguard series, to be honest. The Vanguard Station. Those series of books are absolutely amazing. So that's what I would go. That's what I would say about that. So anyway, guys, that's it for this Captain's Log. It's been a long one, but hopefully it's been a good one. Sorry for taking up so much of your time. Hopefully I got to your question. I tried to read them all. I might have skipped one or two little replies or comments to other people's questions. I didn't think I'd get this many, to be perfectly honest with you, so I didn't think it would be this long, so I apologize. But there you have it, guys. Wrapped up a few things for you guys. What are my mission briefings about? The fact that we do have bagged milk in Canada. Ta-da! And you learned a lot about your captain. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Please come again next week where we'll have another interesting topic to talk about, which probably won't be me because I'm not that interesting. And we'll see you then. So until then, guys, this is Captain Foley. Click subscribe. 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 I don't know where I'm going to put it. Subscribe to my Trekyards channel, which you probably are a member of, and also my personal YouTube channel as well. You know, I'd really appreciate that because I want to diversify and get a few things on there that aren't Trekyards related. And also click on another video up here. Till then, this is Captain Foley signing off. Live long and prosper, guys. Bye-bye. Just turned off the upper light to kind of get ready for editing this together and realized I should have done the whole thing like this. Trekyards after hours with a few lights off. Oh, chicka wah wah. Had to, guys. I'm sorry.